This is the Dzogchen Sende Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. It is Yoda early Monday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. After chanting Pure Golden Ore and the Cuckoo Song of Pure Presence, both meditation classics, to facilitate the diaphragmatic breathing, which is useful for such chanting, let us do a few moments of energy work. Let's see. An efficient way to gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce behind our navel is twofold. As we inhale, we can silently and mentally recite, grinning to the navel wheel, which is about the size of our thumbnail, horizontal, and about a thumb's width before our spine. During our exhalation, we can melodically intone, or I should say monotonally. We should simply intone the syllable tram. Let's do that for 3 breaths. Tram. As we do that, let's touch the left thumb to its ring finger, and similarly touch the right thumb to its ring finger. Tram. Tram. Now that we are primed for diaphragmatic breathing, let's chant. The luminous mind of Bhakti Yoga is noticing and relaxing, is inexpressible beyond neurotic conceptualization and mere superstition. As the light of the teacher treasures noticing and relaxing are extolled by all. So, in other words, simply cooperating with our sympathetic nervous system by passively noticing as we breathe in, and by passively cooperating with our parasympathetic nervous system by physically relaxing as we breathe out. That is our ultimate teacher. Let's continue. As the heart of experience, Mahasandhis noticing and relaxing are like gentle prince. The archetype of insight and letting go, also known as Manjushri. It is said the Buddha taught a parable of an individual crossing a river by fashioning a raft. And then once having successfully crossed the river, being faced with a decision. Do they drag the raft with them through the woods for the next leg of the journey, or do they simply abandon the raft in the hopes that the next person who needs it will find it? This is a wonderful illustration of the importance not only of recognizing insight, but letting go of it as well. As I'm sure you have heard, everything is empty, even emptiness is empty, which means we let go of everything. We even let go of letting go. Mahasande is one of the many similes used to describe noticing and relaxing. There Mahasandhi in Ati Yoga or Sanskrit. Great completion stage is English. Dzogchen and Trekcho are Tibetan. Sutra Mahamudra is also Sanskrit. Different words, exact same practice. Let's continue. Resting in the spontaneous pleasure, all the effort is great compassion of Dzogchen's noticing and relaxing. So, can noticing and relaxing be delightful? Yes, I can. Does that mean that if we notice and relax, everything is wonderful all the time? No, it doesn't. Sometimes our experience is external, sometimes it's internal, sometimes it's pleasurable, sometimes it's painful, sometimes it's interesting, sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's glorious, sometimes it's grotesque. Our job is not to tell ourselves stories in an effort to cope with that which is painful or boring. Our job is to notice and relax. Doing so is not equivalent to the myth of an ostrich burying its head in the sand. Au contraire, for the more time we spend authentically noticing and relaxing, the more our choices, utterances, and deeds will flow, not from contrived calculations, nor from wild scatteredness, but instead from love's deeply centered spontaneity. If our primary teacher is noticing and relaxing, our secondary teacher would be the loving centered spontaneity generated by noticing and relaxing, which is the carrier wave that we surf to transcend life's problems that can be transcended. Let's move forward. As the basis of all disciplines such as love's moral conduct, the luminous mind of Ati Yoga's noticing and relaxing generates the loving kindness that is morality's essence and provides release in its every mode. Ati Yoga's noticing and relaxing are like our Buddha's mother and our universal path. Without noticing and relaxing, enlightenment could not manifest. We and all are seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, emoting, intending, thinking, recalling, and imagining, all themselves a way of supreme liberation. These things are not distractions. The path of the Buddha is not the path of repressing sensory input. It's the path of vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly noticing whatever we perceive, emote, intend, reason, recall, or imagine, and then relaxing into it. Our job is not to be grumpy Mace Windu, but instead to be groovy Qui-Gon Jinn. Let's see, checking for questions. At the moment you have a specific question about that which we are chanting, do not hesitate to type your question in the chat window. Subtle and elusive, this universal path of Ati Yoga is noticing and relaxing, transcends the duality of thinking and non-thinking, without location or reference and determinant. Ati Yoga's noticing and relaxing are beyond all conceptualization. Unutterable Ati yogas, noticing and relaxing, seem to have no color or shape. Intangible and inscrutable in all sensory fields. Ati yogas, noticing and relaxing, are inexpressible. So, I can tell you how to practice, but nobody's explanation is a substitute for the visceral wisdom we access through the remarkably easy practice of noticing and relaxing. Noticing and relaxing are superior to contemplation. They are superior to blind faith. They are superior to concentration, no less thought suppression. Pay close attention to the people who recommend to you thought suppression or concentration or contemplation. These people are not peaceful. These people are not joyful. These people are not loving. These people are not carefree. However, whoever follows that path of the ancient ascetics. So, however means we just did a U-turn. So the past three passages, we've been talking about noticing and relaxing. And now the author reminds us, most people don't teach this. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, including humans, including meditation teachers. So what about the 90% that don't teach the ease and efficiency of noticing and relaxing? However, whoever follows the path of the ancient ascetics, those people who are just about pushing, effort, blood and sweat and tears. Those are the bastards we're talking about from the top. Whoever follows the path of the ancient ascetics becomes sick from attachment to that contrivance of active focusing. The literal interpretation of the teacher's instructions is experienced as an arduous quest, as they chase a stream of beliefs and concepts as if pursuing a mirage. For this complete modality of Hatha Yoga's noticing and relaxing cannot be indicated by mere words, and any rigid, fearful, or elitist grasping at so-called true doctrine makes a travesty of Doje Sempa, the archetype of Hatha Yoga's practice of simply noticing and relaxing. Okay, so this path is supposed to be simple and easy, despite the people, the grumpy people, who want to make us just as grumpy and anxious as they. Purity and impurity as one inseparably mixed. The pristine awareness of Hatha Yoga's noticing and relaxing, as well as bewilderment or indivisible. This lamp of unbounded claret. So what we're doing is we're exploring a bunch of opposites and how they are inexorably intertwined. Purity and impurity, or the duality of purity and impurity, are different yet connected. Pristine awareness and complete bewilderment are different, yet connected. Clarity and befuddlement are different, yet connected. How are they connected? We start chanting at the preposition in. In and of themselves each feed powerful meditation. So when we are sitting, and noticing as we breathe in and relaxing as we breathe out, even if that which we notice is befuddlement, even if that which we notice is bewilderment, even if that which we notice is impurity, boom, chicka, boom, boom, whatever we notice, simply by the virtue of noticing and relaxing vulnerably and passively in harmony with our breathing, turns into something from a hindrance into that which is helpful, becomes a rocket fuel that propels us, helps us to master this remarkably brief path of noticing and relaxing. The seventh and eighth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. So potent are the seventh and eighth folds that by simply practicing them at least once every 12 hours, the remaining 6 folds of understanding change and love and going with the flow take care of themselves. That didn't work out mathematically. Let's try that again. The remaining 6 folds of noticing change as well as letting go. Practicing loving intention, loving communication, loving conduct, and loving commerce, as well as practicing the effortless effort of going with the flow. Those things are mastered spontaneously and effortlessly as a byproduct of simply noticing and relaxing. So efficient is this path that in the second to the last passage of the Buddha's discourse on the 4 bases of mindfulness, he explains that one could master this path in as little as 7 days. So if someone tells you it takes 7 decades or 7 lifetimes or 7 kalpas, understand that these people, although they may be sincere, are contradicting the easy teachings of the Buddha. The Buddha's teachings can be placed into 2 categories: proto-Buddhism and institutional Buddhism. Institutional Buddhism is the home of the cranky bastard. Proto-Buddhism is the home of the happy camper. Together, this eye of direct insight seeing directly sees merely an empty nothing. Yet it is called the Buddha eye of omniscience. So know the empty nature of vastness without center or boundary. For here lies undiscriminating, powerful non-duality. The luminous mind of Ati. So let's think for a second. I wasn't always a Buddhist. I spent a very intense decade as a fundamentalist, as a Christian fundamentalist. And my teachers were intent on teaching me to deny people the benefit of the doubt and assail them with railing accusations in an effort to bend them to my will, that I might coerce them into forsaking their worldview, even if they thought it was a Christian worldview, and drag them kicking and screaming into my Christian fundamentalist cult. I thought I was doing the right thing, even though the Bible that I thought I was following taught the opposite, taught that God is love, and that love trusts all things and is non-coercive. These subtle teachings are not unique to Christianity. All wisdom traditions teach the primacy of love. The late Tulku Thondup insisted that the highest love was the spontaneous and uncontrived byproduct of simply noticing and relaxing. Together, the luminous mind of Bhakti Yoga is noticing and relaxing, as well as their habits are one inseparably mixed. So, our mind, which can notice and relax beneficially, has a bunch of habits. Some of them are benign. The habit of breathing, that's a useful habit. The habit of drinking water when we're thirsty, the habit of eating when we're hungry, the habit of urinating and defecating lest we burst asunder, the habit of resting when we're weary, the habit of seeking warmth when we're cold, the habit of seeking shade when we're warm. These are more than benign habits. They are beneficial habits. But the same underbrain, the same dopamine-oriented survival mechanism also can drive us to be, the same system seems to go through life forever asking 6 questions. Hey, this thing that I just perceived, should I fuck it? Should I feed on it? Should I fight it? Should I flee from it? Should I faint before it? Should I fawn over it? Notice how the unthinking, violent adherents or members of a cult violently fawn over their leader, forsaking everything else. Anyone who tells you that devotion trumps mindfulness and meditation is leading you in the wrong direction. Let's continue. The luminous mind of Bhakti Yoga is noticing and relaxing, as well as their habits are one inseparably mixed. So these drives, these survival drives, which when overused, undermine our ability to experience true fulfillment. For just as the dopamine system rewards for living in survival mode, our oxytocin system rewards for the cooperation, which is integral to community. One of the many tragedies of late-stage capitalism, wherein everything is monetized, and third spaces are virtually extinguished, is that it undermines the community, the cooperation that is needed for fulfillment. And yet, whatever self-destructive, overused survival strategy, survival impulse, breaks, tap dances across the stage of our mind, simply by noticing that and relaxing into that, becomes tamed and transformed into spiritual rocket fuel. Let's continue. All manifested experiences are merely generated by mind, and shine as a dormant, neither accepted nor rejected. So simply let it be and enjoy. Oh, what folly to push at some things and pull at other things, thinking that will help us on the path of non-duality. It cannot. The seventh enlightenment factor is equanimity, the balance of having the same antidote for everything, the same antidote for our dreads, the same antidote for our desires, the same antidote for our delusions. What is that antidote? The Hatha Yoga of passively cooperating with our autonomic nervous system in such a way that we stop hindering our body's natural tendency to notice and relax in harmony with the phases of breath. This is why one of the many nicknames of noticing and relaxing is natural liberation. Let's continue. Even activity that is personally repugnant or culturally taboo, such as the 5 mental poisons of dread, desire, delusion, jealousy, and pride, or the 5 so-called unforgivable crimes of murder. Let's try this again. My chanting error. Or the 5 so-called unforgivable crimes of murdering one's mother, murdering one's father, murdering one who has mastered awareness and letting go, assaulting one who has also mastered love and letting go, or religious divisiveness. Could be the realization of powerful non-duality. For on this path of purification, centered spontaneity, nothing is rejected, not even sex. Yes, we can meditate. We can practice the mindfulness and meditation of noticing and relaxing as we sit, as we lie down, as we stand, as we walk, even while making love. One's intellect could be harmfully conditioned by the elitism and rigidity of tradition and literalism, such as the 3 contrived analogues of somebody's awareness, bliss, and love. The author's not saying there's anything wrong with spontaneous awareness, bliss, and love. It's just that indulging our tendencies to contrive and force and these things are much more harmful than beneficial. As well as the dogmatic belief in doctrine, which are the delusions that undermine effortless transmission. Instead of such folly, let us abide in the spontaneous pleasure of the truly free from great completion of Dzogchen's noticing and relaxing. So we've explored, over the last 36 pages, we've explored many interesting ideas. Now let's tie this up in the big red bow that is the Oopsie, I got ahead of myself. Please forgive me. The core of sublime spontaneous awareness, imperturbable, unchanging, and unelaborated, which is the ambrosia of the timeless consummation of Hatha Yoga spontaneous awareness and centeredness, vanquishes the pain of any exertion, thus resting in the here and now. Every ambition is spontaneously fulfilled. The 6th fold of the Buddha's 8-fold path is right effort, which could also be translated as effortless effort, or doing without doing, or wu wei, or going with the flow, or being in the zone. We can be the Big Lebowski, or we can be the dude. Always choose the dude. Hey, magnificent one, listen, all and everything in experience, which shares the same empty nature of the luminous mind of Hatha Yoga's noticing and relaxing, is like an all-inclusive essential drop incapable of being controlled by the dualities of contemplation or concentration, expansion or contraction, generation or cessation, unconfined, it is simply being. This inconceivable essence of Hatha Yoga is noticing and relaxing, chronologically always present like the sky, locationally everywhere present like space transcends ideas and speech. Whoops. Now we're going to wrap things up over the next 3 pages with the Vajra verses known as the Cuckoo Song of Pure Presence. The nature of multiplicity is non-dual, and things are naturally pure and simple, being contrivance-free in the here and now, shining out in all forms, it is always all good. Thus already complete exertion is now redundant, and love-centered spontaneity ever natural. Having completed our opening recitation, for the remainder of this morning's live stream, let us meditate. We're going to employ 3 efficient ways of gently inviting our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce at our crown. The first technique is this simple exercise. As we feel air enter our nostrils, silently and mentally we could recite Grin into the crown wheel. As we relax and during our exhalation, during our exhalation, we can intone the syllable Om. Let us do this together right now. Oh yes. As we do that, let us use the tip of our left index finger to support the lower knuckle of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. The best grin begins at the lips, passes through the cheeks, and perches upon the crow's feet of our eyes. Sitting as sustainably and comfortably as we can. One moment. As we feel air enter our nostrils, let us silently and mentally recite the verb noticing. As we feel air exit our nostrils, let us silently and mentally recite the verb relaxing. In addition, we could take the tip of our left thumb and touch it to the lower set of creases on this little finger, thus keeping track of our first set of 12 inhalations. How could we keep track of those 12 inhalations? By using the finger, the thumb, and the creases of our right hand. Beginning with the lowest set of creases on our right little finger, let us practice, remembering to advance the thumb during each inhalation. Having run out of creases on our right index finger, we now advance our left thumb to the next set of creases, and that's how we can basically keep track of our first collection of 12 sets of 12 inhalations each. A delightfully efficient way to gently invite our energy to coalesce at our chest is for us to silently and mentally recite grinning to the chest wheel during our inhalation, and for us to intone the syllable whom during our exhalation. As we do this, let us use the tip of our left middle finger to support the great knuckle of our right middle finger, palms up in our lap. Excuse me. As we feel our chest swell with breath, let us silently and mentally recite noticing. As we feel our chest subtly sink as gently we exhale, let us silently and mentally recite the verb relaxing. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. For Meditate Like a Jedi is made possible thanks to the generosity of viewers, just like you. In approximately 11 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's dusk recitation, explanation, and practice of meditating like a Jedi. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.